Let's start this over. Hi, I have some new music, and as of the recording of this video, you can't find it online. I don't think you can. Well, maybe some of the music you can. I don't know. I can't remember where I pulled some of this from, and none of that matters. You've probably heard some of it. This is the cover art. I'm only making CDs right now. Um, At some point, I'll probably put it on Bandcamp. I might even distribute it. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be worth the money getting it distributed. So we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. Um, but yeah, I draw these with colored pencils and markers and pens. It's called Geography. It's 12 tracks. Most of the music was not made with the pieces of equipment that you see before you, but some of it was. Some of it was made with Clifford in mind. She As you can see, actually, this song is called "Cat Butt Swing," the first one that I have called up here. I made it with ta-da, the Digitakt and the Microfreak. Um, it took me a while to remember what these were. The recordings on the album were pulled from a session that I had recorded at the Popcorn Tavern open mic, which I host. Um, so like I don't remember how I performed it. Um, I know that usually when I do performances on the Digitakt, I usually just kind of mute and unmute tracks, which is the state it's in right now. These are just mute states. Everything's on right now. So let's just go ahead and turn everything off and get out of that mode. The Microfreak is set to the cat butt swing setting, which I made, which has one modulation. The LFO is controlling the timbre of what type of wave? That's right, it's a wavetable. Sounds like that. Sure, we can start at the Microfreak. This is pretty much the sound that this thing is making through the whole song. So that's that covered. That's the track 9 here on the Digitakt is controlling this. It's up monotonally. You can only do one note at a time out of the Digitakt. Let's see. For the other tracks, I've got a kick drum. For some reason, it had a delay on it, so I put the delay back on here. So it had a delay. I don't remember what that sample is. It's probably just some when I got this Digitakt, it came with a bunch of samples on it that were not factory samples. Somebody had already loaded a bunch of stuff on here, so I'm not sure what a lot of this stuff is. So there's kick drum. That snare drum is weird, huh? It's cool. What is it? It's CP weird. Cool. There's the hat. That's a percussion that comes in later on. There's some more percussion that comes in way later on in the song. I like that one. Even though it has the delay on it, you can't really hear the delay. So when it comes in, it just sounds like everything's got this like delay all over it, but you can't really hear that in the mix. Anyway, I'm hitting these buttons really hard. What's the next one? That's that like melody thing toward the end. And then this should be the bass. It is. Let's see. I have it in a certain key right now, but I played it like this. Or just yeah. That's cool, right? Let's put it, well, it'll reset itself maybe. So yeah. That's Cat Butt Swing. That's the whole thing. Yeah, the bass has an LFO on what? What is this? Bitrate? Yeah. It's just changing the bitrate, it looks like. The bit reduction very slowly, and I think it's at a no, it's not. It's just in a weird, like, it changes very slowly. It's not changing a lot now. There it is. Yeah, cool. I'm not gonna play the whole song because whatever. It's just not where this in the scope of this video. Let's move on to another song. Oh no, where are the other songs? Cuppo. All right, there's a setting for Cuppo on here too. There it is. All right, this one, I haven't done much sampling on the Digitakt where I'm actually like loading my own samples in, but this one I did, and it's called Cuppo because I had a cup, and I was like, I had a really crappy microphone that I got. It was like a Radio Shack mic that I got from Goodwill. It's literally made out of plastic. And I just plugged it right in here, and I was just tapping on the cup. So let's see what these are. That's a cool kick drum. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah. There's one of them. That's the bass. Yeah. And I kind of set these up so that I wanted this one to be super weird. I was starting from a really weird place to see if I could make something cool happen. And these should have, well, this one doesn't. This one has the tuning changing a little bit. You can see there. A lot of these should have, oh, but they don't. I thought I did a thing where I would change the start position so you could get the timing all weird on these, but these are just weird enough as they are. So we're at, so let's just unmute these 4 tracks, and this is the weird stuff. And I have these set up on weird rotations in the sequencer. I'm using a lot of conditional trigs on some of this stuff. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm making stuff up. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe none of this happened. Let's see. Is this one doing weird stuff? Sorta? No? There. Well, that's doing something sort of weird. I wonder if I've got retrigs going on. I don't know, but you can hear it's not very musical. So that's like the noisier bits. And then we had the bass. Where was the bass? It was on track 5. So if we go here, we can go. It was in Aeolian G sharp. I don't I couldn't recreate that if I wanted to. And that's the beauty of working with this sort of machine, is that you do it once and you record it, and there it is. Now you have it forever. And part of the performance is just pressing play and letting it go. And there was parts where I was like messing around with the bit rate and the filter, I think, on this. So let's turn these ones off and turn this back on. Something like that. Another really nice thing about this is you can mess with stuff and then revert it to your saved position. So I've got all the settings here, got it going the way that I like, and I can change anything about this. And then just hit function, no, and it'll all go back to the same settings as I had it set up as The synth, right, it's set up to do an arpeggio. I think I was messing around with like, yeah, maybe not like that. I don't remember. There's the sound though. Go back and reset it. That's a reverb on that one, huh? All right, let's go to the third one. This is the third song, the last song that I used with this exact setup, Grund. And just mute everything again, just because I don't want to play the tracks. So we got, I always set the kick on 1, the snare on 2. Yeah, okay. I always put a hat on 3. And I usually do an open hat on 4, but it looks like, oh yeah, this one's weird. Yeah, you'll recognize that if you've heard the song. There's another hat. Right. Yeah, something like that. I think that's like the melody. That might be the melody, actually. Let's just unmute this. All right, that's that part. Right. So this is a 8-voice digital drum computer and sampler, which means that, of course, it does all these percussive samples really well. It also will, like, if you sample a synth into it, then you can replay it. Monochromatically. Like any other instrument. And what's this final one? All right, that's the bass. And then for the for the Microfreak, for a lot of the song, it's just doing these pads, and it's going between 2 different ones. It's hard to pick out, but it will switch. Here it comes. There's 2 different chords that it's doing throughout the song. And then at some point, I flip it into the arpeggiator and turn off the paraphonic, so it's monophonic. And at some point, I do that. Just make it faster. And that's it. I know that I did a thing with this one. So it's running very slow. So instead of being like a normal 64, like a 4-bar sequence like this is normally set up to be, this is like a 128, or 8-bar sequence just running at half speed. Yeah, that was sort of a morose one, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna put away this Microfreak and this Digitakt, and I have 3 of these made right now. This is an empty sleeve because I started giving the CDs out before I had these designed. And chances are, if you see one out in the world, there's only like I made 6 on the day that I made these, and I made them with these colors. But the other ones are a little bit different themselves, and I've been using different colors for the different batches. The first batch was like purple, pink, and blue, I think. And I did like 2 or 3. Anyway, if you want one, get at me. I'm not trying to charge a bunch of money for this stuff. Um, and honestly, I'm just giving them away. So if you want one, let me know, and I will give you one. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Shout out to the 404 and the TC Helicon Voice Live Play Acoustic. Can you see that? For helping me out here. Oh God, I lost my camera. Perfect. What a perfect video I've made. I hope you enjoyed as much as I've enjoyed making it. And also Cliff. Never forget Cliff.